My 2026 World Cup predictions slash bracket, whatever you want to call it. First up, we have to do the UEFA playoffs. And for Path A, I do think Italy will qualify. I could say maybe Wales, but on paper, Italy are this by far the strongest team. I mean, Wales are an okay team, but I do think Italy will qualify easily. Next up, we have the Path B, and I honestly think that Ukraine will qualify because Sweden have been so inconsistent, and I don't think Kulusevski or Isak will be back for their first game against Ukraine. So I think that Ukraine will win because the other side of the bracket is not very strong. Albania is not that good, and Poland's best players are quite old, like Lewandowski. So I'm going to say that Ukraine can qualify if they play strong. I mean, they have good goalkeeping, so I think they will qualify. Next up is Path C. Again, I think this one is quite obvious. I think it's going to be Turkey. They again have the strongest team on paper. Arda Güler has been playing really good under Arbeloa for Madrid, and the other three teams are probably the weakest that they could like have in the paths besides maybe Northern Ireland. So I think Turkey will qualify pretty easily. Next up is, or last up for the UEFA pass is Path D. And this one is much closer, in my opinion. I think it's between three teams: Ireland, Czech Republic, and Denmark. On paper, Denmark are the strongest team, but they are a bit inconsistent, I would say, and they lost to Scotland on the last day to fall into the playoffs. Um, their captain, Christian Eriksen, is, I think he's their captain. One of their most historic players is playing on a terrible Wolfsburg team. Czech Republic, Patrick Schick has been doing very well for Leverkusen, scoring lots of goals. And Republic of Ireland, I'd love to see them qualify. You know, the whole Troy Parrott game, that would be electric. But in my honest opinion, I do think Denmark will qualify. Next up, we have the Intercontinental playoffs. And in Path A, or Path 1, I think New Caledonia will definitely not qualify. It's between DR Congo and Jamaica, and I think DR Congo will qualify. They have some quite strong players like Wissa, um, and they beat Nigeria, so they in the final for the Africa playoffs. So I think they will qualify because on paper they have the strongest team too. And Group I, Path 2, I think that Bolivia will qualify. This one's a lot tighter. I think Bolivia will qualify, um, or Suriname. I'm not sure. I'm gonna go with Suriname because they have some players that play in top five leagues, and there's not a lot else to say. I mean, it's gonna be pretty close. Hopefully, there's a good game there, but I'll continue on to the bracket. First up, we have Group A, and this is a very competitive group. I think that Mexico will get first. Um, I do think it's going to be pretty close between these three teams. They're all pretty equal. I'm going to say Korea gets second, Denmark gets third, and South Africa gets fourth. South Africa just don't have enough I mean, their team is quite strong, but it's unknown to most people because they mostly play in South Africa. And while they do have players like Lyle Foster who play for Burnley, and their goalkeeper, I can't remember his name, but he's quite famous for the penalty shootout where he saved four penalties in the not previous AFCON, but the one before that. Group B. Canada, Italy, Qatar, and Switzerland. Qatar is going to be the last. And if Italy make it, I don't know. I'd say that they would be first, yeah. And then Switzerland and Canada, that's going to be a close one. I'm not sure which one would qualify in second place. But Canada do have a younger squad, I would say. And if Jonathan David can pull it together at Juventus, I think that they would qualify. I mean, Switzerland do have some good players, and Embolo always shows up for World Cups for some reason, even though for his regular team he never does. But I am going to say Canada just barely ahead of Switzerland, maybe on goal difference. Whoever pumps Qatar the hardest qualifies, and I think Canada will be that team. I wouldn't be surprised if Switzerland qualifies through the third place teams. Um, but yeah, on to Group C, and this is a very interesting group. Three pretty strong teams. I'd say that Scotland are playing much better than usual. And I don't know, because Brazil, again, kind of an aging squad. We'll see if Neymar plays. But they also do have some really good young players. Endrick hopefully makes the team, and obviously they have Vinny and Rafinha. So I do think they'll get first. And then I'm going to say Morocco because they're technically AFCON winners, even though I think it's an outrage that they got the trophy 2 months later. And they do have some very good players. They have the African Player of the Year, Ashraf Hakimi, and a very good goalkeeper in Banu. But I do again think Scotland will qualify out of the third place teams. Just whoever it's might be close between Morocco and Scotland. It's again probably whoever destroys Haiti the most. No offense to Haiti, they have some good players too. I think Bellegarde, he plays for Wolves, which is quite cool. That Haiti have a team that plays. Haiti has a player that plays in the Premier League, at least this year. Group D, I think the U.S. will be first. They just have a lot of quality, and also I'm from the U.S., so I'm gonna be a bit biased. And then I think it's gonna be Turkey because they have the second strongest team in this group by far. And then it's gonna be pretty close between Paraguay and Australia. I don't think either of them will actually qualify for the next round in the third place teams, but I do think Paraguay will qualify over Australia. Paraguay have like some pretty well known players like Miguel Almiron, and I think Enciso is also from Paraguay, so I think they'll qualify in third. Group E is Germany, Curacao, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador. I think this is a pretty easy group to rank. I think it's going to be Germany number one, then Ecuador, Ivory Coast, and Curacao last. Curacao, it's cool that they made the World Cup, but they're not going to do well. Ivory Coast and Ecuador, again, it's pretty close between them, but I think Ecuador has a better team, having players like Moises Caicedo. So I think they will qualify over Ivory Coast. Group F, this is also kind of an interesting group. I think that the Netherlands, I think they will qualify first. They have a strong defense. It's just if their offense can show up, I think Daniel Malen will start, and he's been playing well. And maybe Memphis Depay will go to another World Cup. And then between these three teams, I honestly have no idea. Tunisia is probably the weakest of the three. They do have some good players though. And then between Japan and Ukraine, I'm really not sure. I think that Ukraine might just barely beat Japan if Ukraine plays well with their defense and Dovbyk is fit, then I think they will just beat Japan. Japan will come in third and probably not qualify because Tunisia might draw with them. But we'll have to see. Um, this group I think is also pretty easy. I don't know. I don't think Iran are actually going to go to the World Cup, but just for this bracket, we're going to keep them in. Um, so Belgium, I think, are going to be first, then Egypt. I'm just going to put Iran in last for reasons because they might not actually be in the World Cup. And then Group H, Spain, Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. Again, I think this is pretty easy. It's going to be Spain, Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, and then Cape Verde. Spain are by far one of the best teams in the world. Uruguay are okay team, uh, but they might struggle a bit. Saudi Arabia again is an okay team, and Cape Verde will not do very well. I think they'll put up a fight, maybe get the draw with Saudi Arabia, but then get destroyed by Spain and Uruguay. So that's how I'm gonna leave that group. Group I, France, Senegal, Suriname, and Norway. This is probably the group of death. This is the worst draw Suriname could get. Um, all three of these teams are excellent. France won the World Cup 2 World Cups ago. Senegal technically AFCON, not AFCON winners, but should be. And Norway, who topped their group, beating Italy twice, I'm pretty sure, drawing once and winning once. So I think this group is going to be super competitive. I think France are going to top it. I think Norway will get second, Senegal will get third, and Suriname will get fourth. I do think Senegal will qualify through the third place teams just because they're such a strong team. They might get the draw with Norway, but scoreless against goals against Suriname. But well, yeah, that's how I'm going to leave it for that group. Group J, Argentina, Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. I don't think this is a very hard group to predict. I think it'll go Argentina, Austria, Algeria, and then Jordan. Argentina, World Cup winners. They do have a bit of an aging squad. Lautaro and Martinez is getting a bit old, and we'll see if Messi even goes. I assume he will. They'd be crazy not to if he still wants to go. Austria, if David Alaba is fit and they play hard, I think they'll beat Algeria. Algeria, not the strongest team. Riyad Mahrez is their star player. And then Jordan, I think they'll just get a bit destroyed by everybody else. There's that like one of those teams in every group. Well, I don't think in this next group. Well, most people would say maybe Uzbekistan would get destroyed. I don't think they will. They have some promising young players. The center back at Man City, he's escaping my name or his name. I can't remember it. They're I think they're still going to finish fourth, but I don't think they're going to get absolutely destroyed. I think it's going to go Colombia, Portugal, DR Congo, and Uzbekistan. Um, Colombia did very well in qualifying, have some really strong players. Luis Diaz is probably their best player or one of their best players. Portugal, again, an aging squad with Bernardo Silva, and maybe Ronaldo will go. I assume he will try for to win the World Cup one last time. DR Congo, as I said earlier, they have some strong players like Wissa, and they did beat Nigeria in the qualifying place for the intercontinental qualifiers. So I think they'll come third. In the Uzbekistan, I don't think they'll get destroyed. I do not think they will even get a chance to qualify. And then the final group, Group L, I think this is also kind of a group of death with England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama. I think England will come in first, then Croatia, then Ghana, and then Panama. Um, I think England will qualify first because I mean they're just the strongest team by far. Then Croatia, because I mean Luka Modric has been playing well this year, so I think he'll do well again. Ghana have some star players like Antoine Semenyo and my goat Mohamed Kudus. So I think they'll come in third, and then Panama, just not a very strong team, will come in fourth. Next up, we have to pick our third place teams, and I think that Denmark will qualify, Switzerland will qualify, Senegal will qualify. Ivory Coast will qualify, Japan will qualify, Scotland will qualify, Ghana will qualify, and DR Congo will qualify. Those teams, because they're just the strongest ones in their group and probably will beat the fourth place teams. Next up, it's a round of 32, and we'll start at the top with Germany versus Scotland. Repeat of the first. Yes, it was the first game of the Euros where Scotland got destroyed by Germany. I don't think it will happen again, but I do think that they will lose to Germany. I'd say it's going to be a pretty close game, but I think Germany will qualify. They've just been playing very well recently, losing out to Spain because of stupid Marc Cucurella, who definitely handballed the ball in the last Euros, but the ref did not call it. France versus Japan, I think this one is pretty easy. I do think France are going to qualify. They are just by far the stronger of these two teams. But if as long as Kylian Mbappe is fit and they have most of their starting players fit, they will be totally fine in that game. South Korea versus Canada. This is going to be a close one. I do think that South Korea will qualify. They just have more World Cup experience, I feel like, and have some very high level players. Like Kim Min Jae is playing at a very high level. Even though Sun is now in LA, he still is a very good player, and I think it'll not be a breeze for them. I'd say if I was predicting the scores, I'd say that game would be 2-1 to Korea with a sunny winner. But next up we have Netherlands versus Morocco, and this is going to be also a very interesting game. I think that Morocco will lose to the Netherlands because the Netherlands, they have more depth, I feel like, in high quality players. Their defense is very strong with my goat Mickey van de Ven and Virgil van Dijk, along with some exciting players like Daniel Malen, as I said. So I think Netherlands will win that. Not easily, but I think they will win that. I think Brazil will destroy Ukraine. Um, Brazil just have so much talent. Vinny's been playing outstandingly recently in his games in the Champions League. And Ukraine just don't have the top end talent to compete with a team like Brazil. Ecuador versus Norway. I think Norway will win. Again, Ecuador have some high end talent like Moises Caicedo, but other than that, they don't have that much high end talent. So I think that Norway will win. Martin Odegaard and Holland will do well. Sorloth and Nusa will also probably play, and that will just their attack will destroy the Ecuador defense. Mexico versus Ivory Coast. This is a close one. I'm a bit stumped. I don't know which one to pick. I would say that Mexico will qualify just barely, maybe on pens. I think. I mean, I really don't know. Actually, I'm gonna go with Ivory Coast because I think they have a younger team, a faster team. Yon Diomande is a good player. Simon Adingra is a good player. I think the pace of the Ivory Coast attack will just maybe just barely win it for Ivory Coast. England versus DR Congo. I think this is an easy one. England have a lot better players than DR Congo and a lot more depth of high quality players. So I think that's a pretty easy one. Portugal versus Croatia. I think it will be Portugal. I think their midfield might outrun the Croatian one because the Croatian midfield is quite old, and Portugal have players like João Neves and Vitinha who will just run relentlessly for the whole time. So I think they will win that game. Spain versus Austria. I think Spain will win because again, Spain are European champions, and are probably the best team in the world right now. Lamine Yamal has been playing well. I think the one worry for Spain is a striker. Morata was pretty good at the last Euros, but can he repeat that form again in an even bigger stage in the World Cup? We'll see. United States versus Switzerland. I think the U.S. will qualify. They just have. It's pretty close, but I'm going to be a bit biased here. If the U.S. were playing a bigger team, like a Big Nine team, then I would probably say that they lose. But Switzerland aren't that great of a team, and the U.S. have some good players like Pulisic and Weston McKennie, who's been playing very good. Florian Balogun has been a good striker this year for Monaco, so I think the U.S. qualify there. Belgium versus Denmark. I think Belgium will qualify if Jeremy Doku is fit. I think they'll probably win. Denmark, again, not a very good team, but not terrible either. I do think Belgium will qualify, though. Still got 4 games of the round of 32. Next up, Argentina versus Uruguay. Argentina, world champions. I think they'll blow out Uruguay, and I think they'll just win this game pretty easily, as long as Christian Romero doesn't get a red card like he usually does. Turkey versus Egypt. I think this is a pretty close game too, but Turkey, I think they have more depth, younger players. Egypt's attack is pretty strong, but the rest of their team is not. So I think Turkey are going to qualify. Italy versus Senegal. I'm not sure. I'm going to actually give it to Senegal because I think Italy are a bit still in shambles. They might not know how to deal with Sadio Mane, and the midfield of Senegal is pretty good. They have Pape Gueye, who scored the winning goal in the AFCON final, so I think they'll qualify. And Colombia versus Ghana, I think Colombia will win. That is because they are just probably a more dominant team, have more top end talent. Germany versus France. I think Germany will take this. Germany are in better form. I think that they have a better defense as long as Antonio Rudiger is playing. France do have some good defenders, but I don't think they can compete with Germany. South Korea versus Netherlands. I think South Korea will win this. Netherlands, will win this game. They just have more depth and player in like high quality players. South Korea have a lot of local players. Not saying the K League is bad, but Netherlands have more players playing in the top 5 leagues, so I think they will win that one. I think Brazil will win this game as long as Vinny is playing. I think they'll be fine. Ivory Coast versus England. I think England will easily beat Ivory Coast. England just have way better, not way better players, but they have a very wide selection of good players like Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, if he stays fit, will probably start. We have Portugal versus Spain, and I think Spain will win. They, again, just are a very exciting young team. Belgium versus US. Ooh, this is a close one. I don't know. I am going to give it to Belgium, though. I think they're a stronger team than the United States. I think this is going to be a close one, but I'll give it to Belgium. Argentina versus Turkey. I think Argentina will win this again. They're world champions, probably one of the best teams in the world, along with Spain. I think they'll just breeze past Turkey, and I think Colombia will win. They, I think, have more depth. Germany will beat Netherlands because, again, I'm not going to keep repeating myself. I think just Germany will win. I think Spain will win because, again, European champions. I do think England will beat Brazil. Brazil's defense is not amazing. If Gabriel starts, then, and I assume he will, then maybe. But other than that, I don't. Brazil doesn't have that many exceptional defenders. and England have some very good attackers. And I think Argentina will beat Colombia. Rematch of, I think it was the quarterfinals in Euro 2024. I do think Spain will win this, and I'm going to say that England beat Argentina, outrun Argentina. I think Argentina will win the third place game, and England will be, no, yeah, I think England will be world champions. I hope they do win, but we'll see. If you agree with this, then like and subscribe. Comment if you have any other changes. If you think somebody else should win, comment that. And thank you for watching.